Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me today. I have a spicy 15-minute ab workout, so roll out your mat and let's get started. Okay, starting in a 4-point position, wrist under shoulders, knees underneath our hips. We're going to start warming up through the spine, so on our exhale, we're going to gaze in towards the belly as we round through the upper back and shoulders. Good, then on our inhale, gently lifting the head as we drop the shoulders, finding a lovely arch there through the spine. Again, exhaling as we gaze in, really thinking about scooping that belly button back towards the spine before inhaling as we send that gaze up, opening through the chest. Let's take it one more time each way. Good, releasing there through the spine. And our last one, taking that inhale before we bring it back through to our exhale, tucking those toes under. We're going to press back to a downward facing dog, and then from here just gently pedaling out through the heels. So pressing one heel down as you bend through the opposite knee, continuing that lovely deep breath in through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Good, gently pressing there through the upper back and shoulders. Finding a lovely deep stretch for 4, exhale 3, last 2, good, last one from here. Then we're going to slowly melt both heels down towards the mat, again pressing there through the upper back and shoulders for a deeper stretch. Good, and just holding here, taking some lovely long deep breath as you find that beautiful stretch through the hamstrings. Good, and then gently from here, lowering those knees down towards the mat, but keeping them hovered just above. Keeping our 4-point position, we're going to flow through a downward dog on our inhale, then exhale as we hover those knees just above the mat. Good, inhale, pressing back, downward facing dog. And exhale as we lower those knees, just hovering a few inches above the mat. Good, making sure our gaze is long and we're keeping that lovely neutral spine as we drop down to that 4-point position. Good, we're here for a few more. Keep thinking about pressing the chest away from the mat, activating there through the shoulders, finding a lovely warm up. Good work guys, we're here just for a few more before we keep those knees just hovering above the mat. For 4, inhale, good, and exhale. You're doing so well, keep that going, last 2. And let's take our final one here. Knees are going to stay hovered and we're just going to tap the knees down and lift. Inhale to tap, exhale to lift. Really think about pulling that navel to spine as you hover those knees off. Good, keeping that lovely tabletop position. Good, you're doing so well guys. If you need to take a little break, just keep the knees hovered for a second on the mat and then bring them back up. Good work, we're nearly there. Let's take 4. Exhale for 3. Final 2. And 1. Hold those knees hovered. Just keep breathing in through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth. Then untuck the toes and rest back in a well-deserved child pose. Beautiful work guys, and rippling the spine slowly up to a seated position. We're going to come back into our 4-point, wrist under shoulders, knees underneath our hips, and on that exhale lifting the knees off the mat. We're going to step 1 foot out at a time into a plank hold and then back into our 4-point position. Each time leading with an opposite leg and making sure our shoulders are staying directly above our wrist line, pressing the chest away from the mat and keeping that lovely long line through the spine, making sure that we're keeping our core engaged. Good, if you need at any point, take a moment, rest the knees down on the mat and then bring them back up on that exhale when you're ready. You're doing so well guys, keep working through, using that breath in through the nose Exhaling out through the mouth as you step the feet out and in. Lovely. We are nearly there. Let's hold. Hold it in that plank position, and we're going to start to pull those knees in to the chest and back. Exhaling as we pull the knee directly in. Inhale as we step the foot back. Again, we want to focus here on the shoulders in line with the wrists, and making sure you're pressing the chest away from the mat, engaging there into our shell stretch. Beautiful work, guys. Let's swing those legs around and then coming onto our glutes, bringing our hands behind the back of our legs, lengthening through the spine. Inhale, then tucking the pelvis under, creating that C shape as we slowly bring the spine down to the mat with control. And then on our exhale, lengthening those arms overhead, getting a lovely stretch, and then bringing them gently back down to the side of the body. Let's walk the feet in a little bit closer towards our glutes and finding here our imprinted spine, floating the legs one at a time to a tabletop position with our knees stacked directly over the hips, shins are parallel. We're going to start by extending one leg out on that inhale, and then exhale, pulling it back to tabletop. Alternating the leg that you extend, and really focusing here on our lower back pressing down into the mat. Shoulders are relaxed down away from the ears. Beautiful work, guys. Inhale as you extend, exhale as you bend. Good, creating a lovely long line through the leg, and making sure again we're only taking that leg as low as we can keep. We can keep that contact with our lower back pressing down into the mat. You are doing so well, guys. Keep going through, using that breath to help you. Lovely work. Let's go for 5. Exhale 4. We are nearly there. Last 3. Final 2. Let's take last 1. And we're going to hold those knees into our tabletop position. From here, hands come behind our head, elbows wide, and we're going to curl up. So on that exhale, we're going to peel those shoulders up off the mat, tucking the chin softly towards the chest, extending one leg out and then the other. Good, then we're going to and continue. So pulling that belly button to spine, keeping the head lifted off the mat, and continuing to switch through the legs. Good, exhaling and inhaling. At any point you need, you can rest the head back down on the mat, or you can add a curl up in and then add that leg extension in. Just see what works best for you. If you can, try to keep those shoulders up nice and high. You are doing so well, guys. Let's go through for our last 6. Exhaling for 5, 4. Let's take our last 3. Beautiful work, our final 2. And we'll take one more here. Good, before we bring those knees in and lower the head down. Beautiful work. Hug those knees into the chest for a moment, maybe taking a little rock side to side. Okay, we're going to work on our next one with our heels squeezing together, knees wide, and we're going to tap those toes down to the mat, and then we're going to lift those knees up. So I want you to really focus on drawing that belly button to spine as you lower those toes down to the mat, and then bringing those knees back up. Knees ideally stacked above those hips. Good, or we're adding a little tuck here, so knees come up and we try to lift the hips up just that little inch off the mat. Beautiful work, guys. Then we're going to bring those hands behind the head, elbows wide, and we're going to continue the legs, but extending them out, so heels together, toes apart. Good, squeezing those inner thighs as you lengthen the legs long. Again, drawing that navel to spine as you extend those legs out, and then squeezing those knees back in towards the chest. You are doing so well, guys. Exhale, extend, draw that navel to spine. Good. Inhale, bend, open those knees wide as you come in. Good work, guys. Switching on those hips as well. Good work. If you need, head can go down for a second. Let the neck rest. Otherwise, bringing those shoulders nice and high. Lower back in contact with the mat. And keep drawing those abdominals down. 3, 2, and and 1. Lovely. Let the head rest just for a second. Legs straight out, and we're going to take little crisscrosses over so the legs are straight, head is lifted, or if we can, we're reaching those arms to the side of the body and we're crossing the legs over each other as we slightly lift and lower the leg a little bit. Good work, guys. And then resting that head down, hug the knees into the chest and take a well-deserved rest. You've done it so well. That was a really tricky series there. You did so well. Okay, we're going to rest those feet back down onto the mat, finding our imprint before we bring them back up to our tabletop position. Knees stacked above the hips and drawing those abdominals down towards your spine. We're going to extend opposite arm to leg on our inhale, and then exhale, we're going to pull in back to center. So inhale, extend, opposite arm to leg, exhale, come back to center. Lovely work, guys. Now each time you extend through the arm and leg, really focus here on pulling that belly button back towards the spine, so no doming through the abdominals, and making sure your knees are staying stacked above the hips. Mine are slightly into the chest on this one. Good, but really making sure we're engaging through those lower abs. If you can take the knees a little further away, beautiful, to find more work through those lower abdominals, but just make sure that lower back is pressing down into the mat. Good, try to keep the shoulders down and relaxed. We are nearly there, guys. You are doing so well. Keep using that breath to help you through. We are there for our last 6. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Let's bring those hands behind the head and lift the head up again. We're going to extend those legs straight out together, and then we're going to squeeze those knees back into the chest. Exhale, extend. Inhale to bend. Again, focusing on that lower back pressing down into the mat. Lovely work, guys. And if you need, that head can come down onto the mat. Just give the neck a rest. And then when you're ready, bring it back up if that's okay for you. Good work, guys. If you need, come back into your single leg extension. Otherwise, we're going to hold it there. Both legs extended out and both arms overhead for 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Roll yourself gently up to seated. And we're going to bring ourselves back over to a 4-point position here before we come with those wrists under shoulders, knees underneath our hips. We're going to step it back out into our plank hold position here. And we're going to draw the knees now across, so opposite knee to elbow this time. Again, the shoulders stay over the wrists, and we make sure we're keeping that long line through the spine. Exhale as you pull the knee over to the opposite elbow. Inhale as you step back to your plank position. You are doing so well, guys. Keep using that breath. The shoulders might be feeling it here. Mine definitely were. Good work. Keep using that breath, drawing that knee up. Can you hold it for a second longer before you step the foot back? We are doing so well. Let's go for that last 10 seconds. Good work, guys. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Resting back into our shell stretch and just taking a moment here to catch our breath. Before we lower ourselves gently down onto our stomach, let's bring those wrists under our shoulders and finding a lovely stretch for the front and back of the body here. Good work, guys. Maybe taking the gaze over one shoulder and then over to the other. Beautiful work, guys. And then gently lowering yourself down. Beautiful. Before we tuck those toes under, good to press back to our child pose. You did so well, guys. You should be so proud of yourself today. We are going to finish up with some lovely little stretches to loosen up the body. So when you're ready, we're pulling the spine back up to our 4-point position, and we're going to work through a few cat and cow stretches. Exhaling as we gaze in towards our belly, and inhaling as we gaze up towards the sky, opening through the chest. Again, exhaling as we peel that gaze in towards the belly, And inhaling as we send that gaze back up to the sky. Beautiful. Then let's come to a seated position with our legs crossed out in front of us, placing our left hand onto the mat and taking that right arm over for a lovely side stretch. Being a lovely stretch through the side of the body, maybe gazing up towards the ceiling if that feels good for you. Exhaling through center and then taking it over to the other side. Again, sending that gaze up to the ceiling if that feels nice for you. Or take it one more time in each direction. Good work, girls. Inhaling as we bend, exhaling through center. One more time, inhale, drawing that hip down towards the mat, exhaling, coming through that center point. And just like that, guys, you are all done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do, please like and subscribe as more videos will be coming shortly. Thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, guys.